Behind me sits the Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital.
Hey, Matt.
Welcome to Movies We Love Recapped. Today we will enjoy a 2011 mockumentary ghost hunting thriller entitled Grave Encounters. Spoilers ahead. If you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit the like button. It's free and it really helps the channel. Thanks, and here we go.
After its closure in 1963.
As the film opens,
My name is Jerry Hartfield.
we meet Jerry Hartfield, the producer of Grave Encounters, a paranormal reality television program. Hartfield explains that the show was canceled after only 5 episodes, following the frightening disappearance of the entire crew. He then presents raw scenes from recovered footage of the 6th and final terrifying episode. The Grave Encounters crew consists of presenter Lance Preston, occult specialist Sasha Parker, surveillance operator Matt White, cameraman T.C. Gibson, and fake medium Houston Gray. The crew is invited to Maryland to examine the abandoned Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital,
Behind me sits the Collingwood Psychiatric Hospital.
where unexplained phenomena have been reported for years. We learn that the crew will be locked inside for 8 hours during the night
We'll be performing an 8-hour lockdown.
and will use high-tech recording instruments to record any ghostly phenomena. Lance meets with Morgan Turner, a local town historian, for some historical facts about the Collingwood Hospital. Turner tells Lance about an unusual doctor named Arthur Friedkin, who was the head physician from 1937 to 1948. Friedkin performed unethical experiments and was especially known for gruesome lobotomies on the hospital's patients. Eventually, 6 patients escaped their rooms one night and murdered the twisted Friedkin in his office. He was found the next morning stabbed repeatedly. Next we meet Kenny Sandoval, the hospital's caretaker, who takes the crew on a day tour down dark and creepy hallways. He informs them of the hospital's history and points out frequent paranormal happenings, such as a window that repeatedly opens during the night. He also shows them an old patient's room complete with maniacal writings covering the walls, and later during the tour, a bathtub with dried blood, supposedly from a patient's suicide. Before the fun begins, we watch as Matt begins the setup by installing static cameras throughout the building in many possible paranormal hotspots. He then explains for the camera his various ghost-catching gadgets. Finally, the moment of truth arrives when the caretaker Kenny locks the crew inside for the nighttime spook hunt with a padlocked chain.
Right, this is the real deal, folks.
The crew begins filming their tour of dark hallways, searching for spirit entities.
I feel like it distorted my
Spirit, you have nothing to fear from us.
They call out to the dead to reveal themselves, but no paranormal activity occurs within the first few hours. They even do lone vigils in different parts of the hospital. Suddenly things take a turn as a wheelchair moves on its own, and TC is shaken by a door slamming behind him. The crew continue their attempts to establish contact. It gets more intense, and they are soon frightened by unexplained sounds and moving hospital furniture. Suddenly, to their horror, Sasha's hair appears to be lifted into the air by an unseen force, and she completely breaks down in a panic, saying she needs to get out immediately. Houston agrees, saying he wants out as well. They return downstairs to pack up their gear in preparation for the caretaker's 6 a.m. morning return. Matt sets out alone to retrieve the various static cameras, but before he can retrieve the last camera, he notices the window is mysteriously open again. Then a loud banging noise grabs his attention, and he walks off to investigate it. When Matt doesn't return to the lobby, they decide they have to look for him. Again they walk the darkened hallways, this time calling for their friend. They soon find his equipment scattered in the hallway. As they continue to look, TC climbs up a stairwell. Suddenly he is pushed by an unseen force. He lands painfully at the bottom of the landing. They try to call Kenny to come help, but no phones can get a signal. When neither Matt nor Kenny returns, the crew forces the front doors open, but discover that it leads to another hallway. It seems the hospital is now a maze, with no way out. They aimlessly walk the hallways and realize that despite their clocks saying it's dawn, It is still dark outside. The crew return to the lobby and sleep, but are awoken when the construction light they set up falls forward and breaks. TC tells Lance that there is a fire escape on the roof, and they head off to find a stairwell with rooftop access. They are successful, but find that the stairs are blocked off by a randomly built wall blocking their escape. The hospital just keeps changing all around them. They decide to backtrack, and while looking at a map on the wall, the arrows on their compass spin in random directions. The group hear what sounds like Matt screaming and run through the halls hoping to find him. Once they find the room where they heard Matt's screams, they encounter a metal bed frame that levitates into the air. They all run in terror. The crew stops to rest, and when they wake up, they find the word "hello" horribly cut into Sasha's back. They once again go looking for Matt after hearing his voice on the walkie-talkie. The group comes across a woman in a hospital gown, and when they catch up with her, her face distorts grotesquely. They flee from the entity in fear, and Houston is separated from the other crew members. Houston wanders the halls in the darkness, and is then lifted by his throat into the air and choked. Suddenly, a bright light bursts from the end of the hallway, which sends Houston flying. He then lies lifeless. After hiding in a room for several hours, Lance, Sasha, and TC discovered to their horror that they have been fitted with hospital identification bracelets, bearing their names and date of birth. The trio roam the halls again, and an arm smashes through the window on a door and grabs Sasha. Lance frees her, and they run down the hallways. While Lance comforts Sasha, TC yells at them to come into a room which Matt is sitting in. Matt, wearing a hospital gown and now insane, mumbles incoherently and claims that they can leave the building once they are quote-unquote better, and that he will help you too. They bring Matt with them, and the four rest inside another room. When they wake up, the nightmare continues as disembodied arms are reaching through the ceiling and walls. The group flee into a room full of bathtubs and find Matt staring down at a bathtub full of blood. TC attempts to pull Matt away from the tub, but a figure emerges from the blood and drags TC into it. Sasha and Lance tip the tub over, but TC is not inside it, which causes Sasha and Matt to become hysterical. Lance finds an elevator, but struggles to pull the doors open. He leaves Sasha and Matt behind to look for something to pry open the doors. Lance yanks a rod off a hospital cart and notices a bloody, severed tongue in the corner of the room. Lance then encounters a ghostly figure huddled up in the corner of the ceiling, which of course chases after him. Lance makes it back to Sasha and Matt and successfully pries open the elevator doors. He hears the figure making its way to them and goes to confront it. It knocks him down, and Sasha runs to help. Together, they keep the entity at bay by holding the door closed. While the two are busy, Matt leans forward and plunges down the elevator shaft, killing himself. Lance and Sasha climb down the elevator shaft and enter the tunnels beneath the building in search of an exit. Sasha falls ill and begins to cough up blood violently. Lance, refusing to leave her, helps her to keep walking. The two stop to sleep, and a strange mist envelops them. When it clears, Sasha is gone, nowhere to be seen. Lance, now all by himself, begins to slowly lose his mind. He kills and eats a rat raw, laughing while he devours it. Lance passes out, and after waking up, finds a door. It leads into Friedkin's operating room, which contains antique medical instruments and photos, as well as occult and ritualistic materials. He sees apparitions of Friedkin and several nurses. The doctor then morphs into a horrid demon. In the final scene, a lobotomized Lance records himself proclaiming that he is now cured and finally allowed to leave. The film ends here. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this recap, please hit the like and subscribe button to see more recaps just like this. See you next time.